She was born in the United States in New York, New Jersey, moved to the Dominican Republic for the 6th grade, didn't speak any Spanish. She ended up finishing school and college on a full scholarship, moved back to the United States, worked inside of the American school system, and realized she had made a mistake. After coming back to the DR in 2023, something unexpected happened that changed her decision to move back to Dominican Republic permanently in 2024. So today I'm sitting down with someone whose story really represents what it means to live between two worlds. So welcome to the show, Jazzy.
Hi.
All right. It's been a long time coming. So today we are in, where are we at today?
Chancho Gusto?
Chancho Gusto, and everybody know Chancho Gusto, my favorite place. When she said, let's meet at Chancho Gusto, oh, well, she gave me a lot of different options. In Chancho Gusto, I didn't have to think about anything else but Chancho Gusto. And this one here, is this Renacimiento?
It's Bella Vista, I think.
Oh, this is Bella Vista?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're in Bella Vista at the Chancho in Bella Vista, having some chicharron and a presidente. So you were born and raised in New York, New Jersey. Your parents are Dominican. So what did it feel like, growing up as a Dominican in that area?
Dominicans have always represented their culture. Dominicans were Dominican through and through. I was born in New York, but because of the drug scene, they took me to New Jersey, where my family was basically the first Dominicans in that small town. So all I knew was Dominicans around me, and then Indians on the other side of the fence. Mm-hmm. And I would come here every summer. So I always had the Dominican culture. And back then, the summers were 3 months long. So
How did being raised by your grandmother shape you?
she taught me everything. I am a giver. I work hard. Because of her, she's a person that I saw wake up early in the morning and go to sleep late at night and give the clothes on her back to anybody. So that is exactly the type of person that I am today.
Right. We don't have them type big mamas no more, do
Nope.
we? The big mamas then just went away now. Like no more big mamas that had those values. Like now you see the grandmas, they on Instagram.
They're on Instagram. Yep, going to happy hours like
Right.
my mom.
Yeah. So what were your childhood summers like when you were returning back here to the Dominican Republic?
It was amazing because I was coming back to my mom and my dad, which both lived here. And summers back then were 3 months long. So mid-June to September, I remember we used to take continental flights when they used to give you food back then. 3 maletas full of just food, clothes for my friends. It was back then that you had to take your nap at noon after you had your lunchtime, that once the light came out in the streets at night, you had to go back home. When there was a power outage, all the kids were outside. All of my scrapes were from that childhood, and it was just amazing. We were on the back of pickup trucks going to the beaches.
Here in Santo Domingo?
Yeah, going to Pisarelli. It was amazing. Playing hide and go seek in the dark when there was no light.
Are you from Santo Domingo?
Well, my mom is from Santiago. My dad is from Cristo Rey and Bani.
Okay.
But I always lived here. When I lived here in the capital.
Okay. So your parents lived here. Mm-hmm. Your grandma lived in the States. So how did you split up from your mom like that? Because you were born over there, right? So that means she had to move back here.
So I was made here.
My mom. Here.
Yes, I was conceived here. My mom was studying medicine at the time. So because of that, my grandmother wanted me to have a better future, the whole American dream, have the American passport. So I was born in New York, Harlem Hospital, and my mom came back here to DR. I did live here in DR from the age 2 to 3, but my grandmother took me right back to New York and said, no, she's going to have a better future in the States.
And as a kid growing up in the U.S., did you ever imagine that you were going to come back here and live?
No. But growing up as a kid over there was very lonely. So the difference between summers here, where I had all of my friends, versus when I got home to real life, where I was an after-school program. I didn't see my grandmother until 7, 8 o'clock at night. I was always in extracurricular activities to occupy my time, but really no friendships. I couldn't go to movies or out to pizza. We're here, you have that freedom that in the States I didn't have.
Gotcha. So you moved to the Dominican Republic when you were in the 6th grade.
6th grade.
And when you started 6th grade. after going to a public school in the United States. What was that transition like?
It was night and day. I went from obviously a public school in New Jersey to a private bilingual school here, where I was the only one with curly hair. All the girls had jet pin straight hair. I barely knew Spanish. Everybody had their own little cliques because they've been in school together since they were 2.
Right.
So the first couple of months was really, really hard, but the transition was night and day because immediately I found those friendships that I had during those summers. Once you break bread with somebody, a Dominican, that's your friend for life.
Right, right.
And I got to experience that.
So one interesting part of your story is that when you came here, many of your classmates were like upper middle class and you didn't speak the language. So what was that experience like walking into that environment?
It was hard. I got bullied a lot. I was always a little skinny girl. They used to call me palito de coco.
What does that mean in English? I know
It's those
I know
little,
a cocoa.
it's those little white coconut sticks that they sell on the street. That's what they used to call me. But I just embraced it. Like I made that my email address. My first email was palitodecoco@hotmail. And
Oh, right.
yeah, when they saw I embraced it, they took me in. Even the parents, I was like their children.
So what was the biggest cultural adjustment that you had to make from when you moved from the US here?
The way I dressed, the way I talked. We all know
How'd you dress? The
Oh,
Timbos and the
Tim's, Nikes, the belt with your name on it with Jazzy, the Van Dyke, what was it, the Van whatever hats.
Oh, yeah, the Van, yeah.
Yeah. Here you couldn't repeat an outfit. Like we would go to the movies every Friday. You couldn't repeat an outfit. You had to go to the salon every week. All of that was completely different for me. But I also didn't feel, after I was accepted or after I didn't feel like left out. They knew I wasn't rich, but I was still invited to the yacht parties, to weekends in Punta Cana. I was still part of their
clique.
their clique.
Right, okay. And looking back now, what did that experience teach you about like resilience?
Everything. That's one of the reasons why I wanted my son to be here, because you get to meet so many different walks of life, paths of life here. You can think that because somebody is rich, they're not going to be your friend, they're not kind, they're not humble, and I have seen completely different than that. It also taught me that starting from scratch, might be hard, but it might be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Right.
So if I was able to do it at 11 years old, I'm not gonna say how old I am now, but
So you end up doing middle school, high school, and college here. Why did you do all those years here before you decided to go back?
I never wanted to go back. I knew
Okay.
I never wanted to go back after I got here. It was just, this was home. Didn't matter how bad things got, this was always home. So yeah, I had scholarships to go abroad to Boston University, and I decided to stay here.
Right. So you did receive a full scholarship here, right?
Yeah.
And how did that opportunity change your path?
Well, I studied in one of the best colleges here in Intec. I was able also to give back because of my scholarship years. I was able to help the school with what was it? English exams. It was also a weight lifted off my mother's shoulders of having to pay tuition here, even though it's not compared to the States, but it's still money to be had.
I guess you couldn't say what it's like as a teenager in the United States, but was there anything different you noticed growing up here?
Yes, I could tell you it's wild. I lived all experiences of life. Again, from Saturday in a colmado playing dominoes with my friends, to a barrio, to a yacht, to a beach house. So I lived everything. Even though I didn't experience it as a teen in the United States, I did work at a high school in the United States, in a public high school. And I saw that kids didn't leave their community. They didn't leave their pool, the pool in their little area. Maybe some of them went to the movies on a weekend, but it was 7-Eleven, the movies, Subway. That's all they knew. And I got to experience everything. I traveled the world. I traveled DR, and I wouldn't have been able to do that in the States.
So what part of the Dominican culture have you grown just to love throughout these years? I like this part here, the chicharron, the president thing. What do you like?
I love everything. I like I said, I've been kind of lived in the border in La Piña, and I was riding behind a motorcycle and buying clothes from the Haitians from the border. But I also love dressing up nice and being able to have a nice meal at a
Right.
nice restaurant. I like being able to do everything and having the means to do it
Right.
as well, which is really important,
So eventually you had to move back to the United States. What led to that decision?
I was working here in a call center. I was an operations manager, which was not very seen for a woman to be an operations manager making the money that I was making at that time. Crime rate was really bad, and my now husband and I were followed a couple of times home after payday. And we just decided that it was time to leave and chase the American dream. We're both American. We both moved here at a young age. And we both thought that our parents were thriving in America, so we wanted to do the same and start a family there. And that was a big mistake.
So you mentioned that the crime was bad here during that time. Have you seen a change since?
Yes.
What change have you seen?
Night and day. Even so we moved to the United States in January 2016. I came back that summer for my sister's high school graduation, and I was scared to walk in the streets because the theft of the like motorcycle
Right.
robberies and things was so bad that I was terrified. My mom would be like, "Mira, muchacha, what's wrong with you?"
Right.
But now I feel safer than I did back in the U.S.
Yeah. I do too. I mean, I was coming over here in 2015. I can't say I actually well, I did live here in 2015, but I was always from one spot to my restaurant. I never really got out. But so I can't say what the energy felt like. But right now, I've been living here 5 years. I don't feel that energy. I mean, I know things can happen, and I know
Of
things
course.
do happen, but that energy, what I hear people like you say when you say I left because of the crime, to me it's like it had to really be bad for you to leave because I don't see it right now. So what was starting over as an adult in the United States? Obviously, you had spent several years here, middle, high school, college, and you have got acclimated to the environment here and obviously building something. What was it like for you to start over in the States?
It was rough, and I noticed how privileged I was here in DR quickly. So I'm a very type A person. I went prepared with an apartment already rented, with where I was going to buy my furniture. I had already told my sister-in-law we're going to Costco, and I had everything set. And we had a job secure. A week passed, and I already knew, I'm like, shit, we fucked up. You get consumed in buying things, first of all. Amazon was at my door 24/7. I also went from having everything, having a penthouse apartment, which are only things. I don't care about the penthouse apartment. What I care about more is being able to have my friends over.
Right.
Like, my house was always a spot, to then having to only be able to afford a basement apartment.
Right.
And being too embarrassed to have my friends go over, and then starting over, working at a kiosk, at a Sprint store in a mall, working at a Verizon store, like everything that I had worked so hard for in high school, college, I saw just down the drain.
Right.
And it was very traumatizing. We saw ourselves in financial distress. I'm one that if I didn't have cash, I was gonna buy something. But we never had money, so we had to take out credit cards and loans and all of these things that I never lived here. And then at the end of the day, for what? I wouldn't see my spouse, or we would come home and it would just be have dinner, go to sleep, and again. If we would go on date night, then that would affect one of the bills that we would pay.
Right.
So it was a lot, and it was very lonely. I eventually got a group of friends working at the school. But like, to see the friends, it would be like a month in advance. And by the time the month came, you didn't even want to see them.
Right.
Here, anybody's like, hey, Flack, I'm going to your house. Let's order a beer from the colmado. They talk to you for an hour and then go about their day.
Right.
It was very hard.
Many Dominicans don't understand when they leave here to go to the U.S. that no matter what they built here, they're going to start over from ground one. It doesn't matter if you went to college, you're a lawyer or you're a doctor, or whatever you practice, engineer. Once you get over into the United States, none of that means anything. And I don't think people understand how hard it is to start over, especially as an adult. Now, if you went over there when, like, say, as a kid, that's something different. But to go over there after you've built something here is really, really difficult.
Not only that, I used to see my mom come and spend all this money here in the summer. Like, oh, she got it made in New York.
Right.
But she had 2 or 3 jobs in New York.
Wow. Yeah.
In order to come here in the summer and enjoy for 2 months after busting her ass for 10 months out of the year, that's
crazy. Yeah. So you said you almost immediately felt like you made a bad decision or you made a mistake. What made you feel that way?
I didn't see everything that was promised to me coming
The American
to life.
dream?
No. And it didn't even seem like it was going to be like, oh, let me work a little bit harder. It'll be here in a year or 2. No, I didn't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. Then I thought it was, okay, I'm just missing the heat. Let's move to Florida. I never ended up moving to Florida. Like, we went during the pandemic. We just ended up making my son in Florida. But
well, something came out of Florida.
yeah, something came out of Florida.
So you actually worked in the American school system, right? After you moved back, what were some things that stood out to you that were kind of different?
Oh, everything.
I'm sure.
And
where were you, in New York?
No, I was in Maryland.
You was in Maryland, okay.
I was an administrative assistant for an elementary school. We were the first bilingual elementary school in the county, or in Maryland. What did I see? Teachers were not happy. And people say, well, teachers don't get paid a lot. Well, teachers don't get paid a lot here either. But I walk into my son's school and the teachers are dancing. They know all of the kids' names. They're doing TikToks. They're going to happy hour on Fridays. Over there, teachers literally hate their jobs.
Right, I agree.
They also, because they hate their jobs, some of them treat the students that way as well.
Sadly.
Yes. When my son moved here, that he didn't know Spanish, I felt bad because I felt the teachers were going to treat him a sort of way because he was that kid, the one that was always getting in trouble. I saw the lack of parent community. Here, parents, you tell them your kid is going to raise the flag for 0.5 seconds, and parents will take off to see their kids raise the flag for 0.5 seconds.
Wow.
Over there, if they have an event, parents don't go at all.
Over there?
No, they don't go at all to events. And it's very sad to see. There's no respect for teachers. I got spat on. I got cursed at. Parents and students treat staff like if they're garbage. Here, teachers are like royalty.
Right. And believe it or not, back in the day in the U.S., that's how it was. I have to say that when I grew up, that's how teachers were. And I think, and I say this in almost every interview, is that what attracts me to DRs, because the things that are familiar to me growing up, I see it here.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was a time where your teacher was like your mom.
Yep.
You respected them. The spit on your teacher, that was unheard of in the 80s. So what is something that you appreciate about the Dominican school system versus what you saw in the United States?
Everything, individualized learning, the care for each student, the involvement of the parent community. Staff actually cares about your students. It's funny because I just celebrated a high school graduation reunion. I'm not going to tell you how many years, but we shared pictures from kindergarten. I wasn't there, but kindergarten. And when I zoom in, the kindergarten teacher is my son's principal this year.
Wow.
And I showed her the picture. This was in 1990. She knew everybody's name. She remembered their parents' name. Yes.
Wow.
Still to this day. And that's how it is. I ran into a high school friend at Dave & Buster's, and my mom was there. She hasn't seen my mom since 7th grade, again, since 2000. And she immediately pulled out her phone. Look, now I'm a lawyer. These are my kids. Like, just showing her, because there's so much respect.
Right.
From back in the day, she wanted to show. She was like proud to show her what she had accomplished.
Right.
So that is what I love and respect, and I love that my son is able to experience that.
So you came back to Dominican Republic in 2023, and during that trip, your grandmother passed away?
Correct. I came on vacation, and she unexpectedly passed away that September, and immediately, obviously, our whole world came down. And my mom was in New York, I was in Maryland, and we said, we're packing up our stuff and we're coming back. Because she always wanted us to be together, and maybe she died for us to be together, but it wasn't okay for us to only see each other once or twice a year,
Right.
if that. So that basically changed the whole story. I went back to Maryland, pack up all my stuff, and
So how did that loss change the way you thought about the way you should live?
we never know about tomorrow.
That's a
Literally,
fact.
she was at my house 2-3 months later, fighting with me that I didn't do the dishes correctly, the calderos, you need to scrape those calderos. She's like, you don't have any strength. And she was doing my son's birthday party, and then all of a sudden she came back to DR and she never left her bedroom. So I realized that she died for us to live this life, and I'm not gonna take it for granted. I'm gonna do everything that I didn't do back then and enjoy every second.
Did you have any emotions when you went back and packed up to come back here?
Nope. Not at all. My husband still didn't believe it.
What was that conversation like between you and him?
He didn't want to come back. He felt like we were taking a step back, that we had failed. I'm like, yeah, we did fail. That's exactly what happened. We failed. We tried, we failed. Now we're going back with experience. We didn't fail. We're starting over from what we know.
So now you're starting over for the second time.
Correct. But with a new perspective now as a mom, with adult money, with a voice of my own to decide what I want to do.
Right.
So no, I didn't feel anything. I bought my one-way ticket and I haven't looked back.
And what has life been like since?
Amazing. It's been slow pace. I got here I was weighing 88 pounds.
And when I first met you, you were pretty thin.
Yes.
And you was 88 pounds then?
88 pounds.
Wow.
I was in and out of hospitals over there, depression, anxiety.
So that wasn't your normal weight?
No. Nope. Now I'm 140.
Wow.
I wake up, even though I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, I'm not on that, what's it called? Like I was always in a race.
Yeah, on a routine, a
Yes,
regimen. Yeah.
yes, and like a race to do something. I had always do something over there. Here, I just sit in my balcony. I drink my coconut water, see the traffic on La Nunez. I get to see my friends. My son is able to do extracurricular activities and build a community of his own. Yeah, I have no more PTSD.
You had PTSD?
It's funny because you said a video about the PTSD about the police officers.
Right.
That's one of my things. But when I lost my job now in January, I immediately was like, shit, what am I going to do? Like, I failed. Because in my brain, I had to pay $6,000 plus a month. Like, if I was in the United States.
Right.
But then I sat down, I'm like, wait, I could survive with $2,000 here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different.
So what did people say when you decided to move back? Did anybody say anything?
The only ones against it were my family-in-law. Besides that, everybody around me that knew me and knew how miserable I was knew that this was the best step for me. And I get messages all the time when they see my posts, when they see me, they say, oh my God, you have a light to you. You look so happy. Before you would take pictures and you would smile, but you would see the emptiness in your eyes. Like, we're so proud of you for choosing yourself. And I definitely needed to choose myself.
Absolutely. So now that you've lived in both places, the U.S. and Dominican Republic, how do you see Dominican Republic today?
I love it even. I love it even more. I see the changes. I see where it went from third world country to where it is now. I respect this island and its people. It's something you can't describe until you're here, honestly. And actually here, not like going to Punta Cana or whatever. It's literally experiencing the Dominican life, walking down the street and everybody saying hi to you.
Right. I don't think people understand that, when they talk about, because I'm going to ask you, what do you think about Santo Domingo? But I don't think people, when they first come to Santo Domingo, the only thing they can see is the traffic. But they don't understand what it's like to get up every day, walk the streets, go to the pharmacy, go to the grocery store. It's totally different when you live in here, isn't
Correct.
it?
Correct.
It's totally different. People are like, I can't go because of the traffic. Guys, you got to come here and you live. If you live here, it's a totally different vibe. So what do you think about Santo Domingo? Have you ever thought about going to Punta Cana to live?
To live? No. We own property in Punta Cana, but to live, no. To vacation, definitely. Even my son's school has a partner school in Punta Cana, which is amazing. But no, I couldn't be me. I think Santo Domingo is like New York.
Right.
There's a lot of traffic in New York. There's a lot of people in New York, but you can still walk to places.
Right. Very convenient.
Exactly. But here, people are friendly in the streets. You're not going to have somebody curse you out because you bumped into them on the street.
Right. So how do you currently earn a living now to live in DR? Because most people want to know, how do y'all do it? I get that question all the time.
So honestly, I came with my remote job that I've had for the past 6 years, and I was recently laid off now in January. Prior to that, I had started my own businesses, my social media virtual assistant business and my small event planning business. I started both last year, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're doing so many things. How much things are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, thank God I did." Also, my husband works with his sister that has an interpreting and translating business, and that's also remote. So I'm able to manage with all of that and hopefully get into digital marketing. And I also want to share my journey of moving back to DR now and as an adult and starting my life and having my son experience some of the things that I experienced growing up.
I like what you said. You said, when people say you're doing so many things, but when you come here, if you don't have a job and you're more like a freelancer or a consultant, you're going to do multiple things. I do multiple things to earn money. It's not just one thing. I do multiple things to earn money.
But then it doesn't feel heavy here.
Right. It doesn't feel heavy.
No, because over there, I had my 9 to 5, then I worked after school, then I did DoorDash, and I was dead by the end of the day. But here, I'm like, okay, what else? Are we going to go out at the end of the night?
Right.
It's different.
Yeah, the pressure feels different. And I don't even call it pressure, but just to give it lack of better words, the pressure is different here.
Yeah.
So you recently started something called the DR Sisterhood. What inspired you to create that?
I'm not going to say not having friends, but I realized that moving back, the friends that I had along the way from childhood, from high school, college, they were all in their own stages of life. And a lot of them did not understand the failed American dream. And I would talk to them and they'd be like, yes, whatever. So I felt a little bit frustrated. Also, I wanted to have girls where I can go to brunch with, go to church with, go get my nails done, go watch a chick flick that our husbands don't want to watch at the movies and things like that. So again, in January this year, I started everything and I launched DR Sisterhood. We're now 28 girls, women, that all share the same path in life. And it's really nice to see. My goal is not to have a WhatsApp filled of names.
Right.
It's to have intentional friendships.
Right.
And I see that building. We've already celebrated three birthdays. We spend all day chit-chatting on WhatsApp. It's really nice. We share pictures of our kids and schedule play dates.
So what challenges do you see women face often when they come to new countries like Dominican Republic?
DR is and probably will always be a machista country. And it's very hard for a woman to walk the streets by herself without getting catcalled, unfortunately, or sit down in a restaurant by themselves without a man approaching, hey, do you want to can I sit with you? So having that community of people, at least one girlfriend that can go with you in these things, is very, very important.
When you talk about catcalling, to me, I see it different than in the United States. Like the guys are always going to flirt with you over here, but it doesn't get out of hand.
Correct.
Right. Like you in the States, sometimes when guys flirt, when you don't respond, they get mad at you.
They get aggressive.
Aggressive. Right. Do you experience that here?
No. They'll probably say like, "Y esta en que priva," or like what does she think who does she think she is, and keep going, and then just catcall the next girl that passes by. Yeah, we're very nonchalant. We don't let things affect us.
Right. So what do you hope women gain by joining that community?
Intentional friendships.
Friendships.
Nothing. It's I tell my girls all the time, I didn't do this to monetize. I didn't do this for views on Instagram or social media. It's for genuine friendships.
So you've lived in both worlds, and I think I know your answer, in the United States and the Dominican Republic. What do you feel mostly, American or Dominican?
Oh, Dominican, 100%. I don't even know where my passport is. And I have always I have represented y'all. I was in Maryland with my little Dominican flag, but
You say you don't know your passport?
no.
So what do you think Dominicans who live abroad misunderstand about Dominican Republic today? Because I see that confusion and I see that misinformation. What do you think it is?
That we're still that third world country, that we haven't grown, that we haven't expanded. And we've expanded
A lot.
a lot. But also to come when they visit, to come out of one Punta Cana or two, the campos where their parents were raised.
Right.
Because then yes, you're going to see the poverty.
Right.
But there's so much more that that is just amazing to see. So much good comes out of this country. Even like the people, the influencers, the people on our baseball team, our comedians.
I believe the same thing. You know, people who once lived here a long time ago, when they come back, they go from the airport to their campo or from the airport to their barrio, and they really don't see the progress that the country has made. And I think it's really important that, you know, like you say, get out of the campo, get out of Punta Cana, get out of the barrio, and come and see for yourself, and you'll understand exactly what we're talking about.
And that's where you get all those posts of, oh, I can't wait to go back where I have Wi-Fi
Chick-fil-A
and Chick-fil-A and fast internet.
That stuff there drives me crazy. It drives me. My internet works well.
Exactly.
What do people in Dominican Republic misunderstand about Dominicans who grew up in the United States?
That we have money, that it's easier in the United States. Life is easier over there. Even though we have access to everything in the United States, doesn't mean we have access to everything in the United States.
I love the way you said that.
And even if we do, it comes with a debt behind it.
Right.
Oh, you guys have McDonald's, you have everything in the corner. There's people that still can't afford the dollar menu at McDonald's.
Right. Yeah, you got Disneyland, but how many people have went?
Exactly.
You have access, but you don't have access because
Exactly.
it's going to cost you to get access.
Exactly.
Right.
Here, everybody, doesn't matter how poor or rich they are, they've been to a Rio, they've been to a beach.
Right.
I went to an eighth grade field trip to the aquarium in Maryland, and we went over a bridge. These kids had not seen a body of water ever in their life. But yet America is the land of the opportunities. Yes, for the people that have the money to do so. But here you see also lower class still living a great life.
Right.
They'll still go to a resort. They'll still go to the beach. They'll still do a cookout. Over there, we don't see that.
What do you think about, and I don't know if you've seen this in comments on, you know, my Instagram or just other Instagram, when Dominicans that live out of the country, they think that the only people who are taking advantage of the resources in the country are just foreigners. Like, there are no Dominicans who are actually enjoying their own country. It drives me crazy because, like, do you actually believe that Dominicans are not enjoying their own country? It's just me?
No.
It is crazy. The rivers, the mountains, the beaches, the resorts. You go to any resort, especially on the weekend,
Yep.
it's going to be a whole bunch of Dominicans coming on Fridays.
The fruit trees on the streets.
Right.
We have a fruit tree in our parking lot, and people cross by and take a fruit. We enjoy every single corner of. If it floods, you see people in little handmade boats.
Yeah.
We enjoy everything.
Yeah, this idea that just Americans are enjoying the Dave and Buster's or the high-end stuff, that is a lie. Everywhere I go, it's all Dominicans mostly, especially here in Santo Domingo. So what do you think your grandma would say about your life now?
She'll be happy, honestly. And honestly, everything I do is for her. Even the names of my businesses are dedicated to her. So I think she'll finally be saying, "Por fin, mi hija." You're choosing yourself and giving her little boy, which is my son, the life that she worked so hard to give me. So I know she's happy.
So does coming back here mean something to you on a deeper level?
Yeah, besides choosing myself, which I went to therapy for, my therapist is very happy that I bought that one-way ticket. It's being able to change my story, my narrative for myself, and create a beautiful story for my son.
Do you plan on going back to the U.S.?
I don't even plan on going on vacation. I begged my mom not to go. Until things don't calm down how they are right now, I don't see myself going back.
What are your thoughts about what's going on now in the States?
It's very sad and scary.
Yeah.
It's very sad and scary.
It's not even the states that you grew up in when you were over there.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I lived a lot of it in the United States where I was scared to go to Target because they target women cars. I also saw high schoolers getting killed over drug exchanges on the day of their graduation.
Oh, wow.
the school shootings where I was the first person they were gonna see, and I had the security officer say, "Well, you need to find a place to hide because what are we gonna do?" My mom went. She asked me, "What do I bring you?" There's nothing. There's nothing there for that I don't have here that you can bring me from over there.
Yeah, that's one thing they don't understand. Everything that you can get that you actually want and need is here. So for someone in the diaspora that's feeling torn between, the U.S. and coming back here to Dominican Republic, what advice would you give them?
Do it. You don't know about tomorrow. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't work out, you can always go back.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
And it can be worse. It could definitely be better. What you can afford in the United States, you can afford triple here.
Right.
While I paid for a 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom townhouse, $2K, over here I have a 5-bedroom penthouse for half the price in the city center. So if it's in your heart, it's in your heart for a reason. Just do it. If you have the means to do it, obviously. don't come and say, "Hey, I'm here without a job,"
right?
Without a plan,
right?
Because obviously you're going to fail,
right?
But you can definitely succeed here. You can succeed here with very little. I would advise anybody that has the ability to do it to do it. At least if it's short term.
Right. So now that you said that, what would you say your cost of living is here? Like in terms of your overhead, what do you pay per month overhead? Not you going out, but just with your overhead and groceries. What is that cost of living?
$2K.
$2K. I tell people that all the time. They like, you can't do it. I'm like, yes, you can.
And I have an Uber Eats and Pedidos Ya problem.
Yeah, I do too. I got an Uber Eats problem.
Yes.
So. Yeah, about $2K. Now, of course, other things come up. You want to go out and you want to, you got other expenses, maybe car maintenance and things like that. But as far as overhead, $2K, you can make it.
So after paying my son's school, obviously, my son is in one of the top schools of the country, so it is a little bit up there.
You mind sharing what you pay for that?
He's 5, so $6,000 a school year. Again, he's in one of the top 5 of the country. But I was going to pay for him to be at a house daycare, $1,500 a month. Well, here he's in a bilingual accredited school. He takes AP classes because he is advanced in his class. So they take him out 1 hour every day to take AP classes in the next class level.
Right.
So I think it's definitely worth it. After school is paid for, $2K a month, and that's nice.
Right. And what area do you live in?
It's Mirador Sur. They changed it to Bellavista. It depends who's saying it, but it's very city center. So I have everything walking distance. Literally, I don't have to leave my parking lot to go to the salon. I go inside the parking lot. The gym is across the street. The barber shop is across the street. The pharmacy, if they don't have something, they will stock it for you because they care about you.
And what would you think? What would you say are the best neighborhoods for people to move to give them that feeling of convenience?
The Bellavista, Mirador area, everything's very walkable. The area behind Multicentro, what is that? Is that
Megacentro?
Multicentro, like La Sirena Blue Mall.
Piantini.
Yeah, Piantini is very walkable as well. So those they're very touristy. Right. A lot of Airbnbs, a lot of Americans or tourists stay in that area because everything is walkable and safe.
So guys, there you have it. Another Dominican from the diaspora that was born in the U.S., moved here at the age of 11 or 12, did middle school, high school, and college, had to end up going back to the United States, starting over as an adult. Things didn't work out over there. She came back and started over again as an adult. And right now she is still here planning and doesn't seem like she wants to leave. Nope. I too did it twice. She did it twice. It's actually a doable process. So one last thing, how could they find you on social media if they want to reach out to you and be part of your DR Sisterhood or just get general information from you?
Of course, yeah. You could just reach out to Instagram, DR Sisterhood, just like that. And then we will add you to our WhatsApp group if you want to join our community of girls that are looking for friends and just people, like-minded people to share this new journey on this island.
Right. And real quick, before we go, I met you at a community networking event, and you mentioned, was it in 2024?
Yeah, it was right. Yeah,
It seemed like it's been
it
longer.
was August 2024.
August 2024. So this year make 2 years.
Yep.
Okay. So that's how I met Jazzy about 2 years ago at an event that Jonah had in the Zona Colonial. So that just shows you when you come out to Dominican Republic, attend these networking events, and you just never know who you'll meet. So guys, until then, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're going to live your best life. And we out. Peace.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing,